Yes, sir. Everything is prepared for their arrival. I'll alert you when they've arrived.
Look at them. I have them all revved up. Humans. So easy to enrage. Look at them. They have no idea what's going on.
Nor who they're following.
You should have more going on besides that. You need to find base or humans to exploit. Look for the ones that always want to play blame. Those with no knowledge of the real world. Get the younger one. Am I psychops?
Maybe you and your psychops need to up their game. Shouldn't you have the so-called leaders eating out of your hands by now? My rage force is on point.
Prin.
However, we could do more on the streets if you did your job powers.
My job? My job. You have no idea what my job entails. Psychopaths has been working tremendously hard to get control of politicians, religious leaders, teachers, parents, anyone at any level of authority. Even then, there's no full control unless we get possession, and that doesn't happen overnight.
You've had years, lifetimes to get this set up.
Let me remind you, when you have your rage forces, only last a matter of days, maybe weeks before the humans' attention is diverted and weakened, and we're not the only ones trying to win them. So you...
Shut it down. Shut it down. Sit down. Hours. I said, sit it down. Cut the crap. Witness will be here at any moment. We don't need all this drama.
She's the drama queen.
Oh, I got your queen.
From where I sit, both of you need to increase your efforts. Powers, you've done an admirable job of containing the religious humans. However, it is the real believers who pose the biggest threat to Pherick's plan. They may be able to wake up the others in time, enough to severely compromise what has taken decades, hundreds of years to put in place. Keep this in mind. The power that only one of them has can hinder us, let alone what two or more can do when they're together. So we don't have time for your petty squabbles. We have to move faster.
You all can be seated. Prince Pherick is concerned. He doesn't sense the level of anger nor angst required to bring his plan to completion. Do you know what that tells me?
No.
It tells me that your forces are not completing their assignments at the highest level. That makes it very difficult to embroil the planet in fear, rebellion, and insurgency. You need to push it harder! America is the key to Pherick's plan of global pandemonium. If America falls, the rest of the world will cave into Pherick's grip. Understand this. He is playing the long game. The world is ripe for the picking. We need to cash in. He wants more turmoil, more murder, and more destruction. In other words, total, utter chaos. Powers. Your ability to influence, manipulate, oppress, and possess human leadership to influence the masses is vital. They're the linchpin that holds this entire operation together. Every area must not be loosened. Do you have something of value to say, Prin? Huh?
No. Nothing.
Psychops has been working feverishly against these targets: religion, family, government, media and entertainment, education, science, and economics.
We'll come back to you in a moment. Ruldar, can you give me an update on the urban compromise units?
As you can see from these reports, we've noticed that many cities afire. UCU has blinded them from the lawlessness and deception they're locked in. We're in the process of taking over large portions of downtown areas across the country.
In which cities?
Our test models seem to be working well in Seattle, Atlanta, Minneapolis, and especially Portland up to this point in time. Powers' manipulation of the elected officials has been a tremendous asset to the autonomous zone tactic. Her work, along with Prince Rage forces, have enabled my urban compromise units to blind their minds from the real, keeping them deceived. It's given us a great foothold.
And how long do you think we can keep up this deception?
Well, that's always an issue. I mean, it depends on how long Powers and Prin can distract the believers. Oh, they always seem to get in our way. Always causing delays.
We have been able to keep them fractured, which allows us to move freely. They can't completely stop us in that condition, but they still must be dealt with.
I'll be meeting with Prince Pherick today. I'll discuss them with him at that time. But let's go ahead and move on. Ruldar, continue, please.
We need a plan of attack on the police. It must require full involvement from the Rage forces and Psychops.
The plan will have to be very intricate, and it's going to have to be executed with the utmost precision.
Rage Force has given us a gift by igniting a powder keg in Minneapolis. Using those cops to commit murder in broad daylight with one of her operatives filming.
There's always a video.
Well, that video went viral all over social media.
As you're well aware, we own the media and entertainment sphere, which has been a major source of manipulation for us. The vast majority of the writers, producers, and directors we've been able to manipulate, compromise, and in many cases, possess.
The quote-unquote talent, these so-called stars, the ones these mindless masses seek after, these humans. They listen and hang on to every word, which allows my rage forces to come in and control them on a grand scale.
The easiest to target are the younger ones. They lack a sense of history and critical thinking.
We've injected into their minds that because of their youth, they're invincible, so they become reckless. They have no reality or consequence.
Since Prince worked in Minneapolis, Portland, and Seattle is leaving the law enforcement paralyzed, how can we expand that to the nation?
I have an idea. It's a real long shot, but it just might work. If psychops can turn the politicians to attack the police forces, paint them as the bad guys, then my rage force can come in and whip up frenzied verbal attacks, and maybe even physical attacks against them.
I can plant the idea of saying officers that they're hated, and work on their emotions to the degree they'll start quitting. I could get the A-list celebrities to push it via social media and late-night TV.
Have the media outlets flood the news with stories of bad cops, even old stories. Let's keep the wounds fresh. Social media is always going to spread quickly our narrative. They won't know the truth from the lies.
I could have the media use visually graphic images to open them up emotionally. Just to make them a little more receptive.
Pherick's plan to bring down America through the deception of race seems to be working. As long as they continue to believe Darwin's natural selection doctrine, we planted years ago, we can continue to pit the white humans against the black humans. Their diversity and unstable emotions become the best tools we have against them.
We've already raised up the Defier and Blacks Count 2 organizations to the forefront. We can use the BCT to manipulate most of the black humans fairly easily, with the mainstream media pushing our mantra down their throats. The Minneapolis and Kenosha incidents will set them up. Hopefully, Crane can get them so angry by reminding them of everything that's happened to their people in the past. We've already manipulated a large number of the white humans to Defier, implanting their minds with a distrust for authority and a Marxist socialistic idea.
Yes, socialism. We've used that many times to our advantage, especially in Germany. It worked better than we could have imagined. Once we got Hitler to receive the idea, he ran with it. Of course, Prince Pherick's hand was on him the whole way.
He was brutal. Nearly wiped out the Jewish humans. 6 million, if I'm correct.
With our use of social media playing to their vanity and desire to be noticed, it'd be pretty easy to get the younger ones to do the dirty work. Psychops use the white privilege tactic to work their emotions. Even if it doesn't make them feel bad and push them to Defier or BCT, you can still manipulate their anger and move them towards the far left or right wing groups. It really doesn't matter, they're both under Psychops' influence. We'll make sure they get their 15 minutes of fame.
This plan will work brilliantly, and it should exploit their weaknesses perfectly.
Our control of the social media will allow us to hijack the narrative of the Minneapolis and Kenosha incidents, pushing our narrative relentlessly.
What's the framing phrase?
Defund the police.
Defund the police. Yes, I like that. We can raise the level of chaos in the streets. Calls to defund the police will put them in a very precarious situation.
I've been harassing and tormenting these humans through the years so much, they don't know which way is up. Black, white, yellow, brown, it doesn't even matter. Pherick's plan to get that book out of the school systems with any knowledge of it was a masterstroke for me. Made my job a lot simpler.
What do we do about 45? He's moving to send federal troops to quell the violence.
Well, what countermeasures do we have in place?
We have the media and some politicians pushing the narrative about troops being used on American citizens. We'll keep flooding the airwaves since the younger ones don't know history. We should be able to shut the president's voice easily enough.
Easy? Not with this one. This one is different than his predecessors. 44 belonged to us. I was able to perpetuate the political status quo. We got deep into the state like never before. But this one is different. He doesn't belong to us. He's a bull in a china shop. You all failed to get the woman we had planned to succeed 44 into the Oval. We would be much further along. But you underestimated the humans.
Psych-Ops set the stage for his failure. We continually fed the humans misinformation and used the FBI to do it. We brought his business dealings under scrutiny, planted the Russia scenario, taxes, his past lack of respect for women.
And still you failed. Did no one at this table recognize that his massive ego would put him into fight mode rather than flight mode?
Powers didn't give the Rage Force much to work with. We had the humans strong against 45. But the minute they started seeing victory, she eased up on the media. And they started gloating and celebrating. And the next thing we knew, a shift took place that night. A strong shift.
And I know what caused it. Those believers. They began to raise their voices. It acted like a dampening field on what Powers could accomplish. As I said earlier, they always seem to cause delays at the most inopportune times.
Powers, you said they have to be dealt with. How?
Even though fractured, they're still formidable. We can use the shame tactic and target the black ones. Many of them are still hurting because of the atrocities suffered by them and their forefathers. We planted seeds of bitterness and distrust in the majority. I can get a lot of their pastors not to say anything, and some to say the wrong things and have them attack each other, especially on social media. The impersonal nature of the media allows me to get them at odds with each other because they're not face-to-face.
Will that be enough of a distraction?
Oh, it'll be enough if Pring can stoke the fires of BCT into fire. She's been working so hard to make me look bad. She should be working that hard on carrying out her own assignment.
What?
I'll keep directing their anger towards 45. Not only them, but the Democrat leaders as well. Had them on him from the time he won with no backing off. Russia, impeachment, Wuhan virus response. He plays right into my hands with all that tweeting he does. We even managed to move some of those weak-kneed Republicans to our side.
And still he stands. Let's hope this ethnic fur will be the straw that breaks this bull's back.
Have the media again pushing the second virus fear wave. BCT and Defy are working together to attack America's history, causing destruction. But the autonomous zone plans hit some snags. Looks like Prince's rage force has lost some of its fervor. They have a lot of rage when the police are standing still in a line, but as soon as they break line, off goes the rage force, turning tail and running.
Looks like once again, you're trying to cover up for your own shortcomings.
45 is a big law and order guy. Did you think he'll not push back? Remember your idea to have the media stop giving his White House briefings? That backfired when you couldn't get them to buy into it like you thought. Millions listened to him in those briefings. And his fake news narrative continues to be a danger to us. As long as that is so, it weakens what the global leader assault team can accomplish.
Yes, sir. I'll inform witness immediately. It's Prince Pherick. He's ready for you.
Well, I hope he'll be pleased with our report.
What is this human? This vile creation is so easily manipulated and so easily tampered with. I despise this race of humans. I will destroy his prized creation. I will crush them. I will dominate them. I will rule them. And I will enslave them. This used to belong to me. And then he took it from me. Then created this vile creation made in his image, his likeness. Then gave it to them. And all it contains, even me. But I found a way to take it back though. And once I took it back, I vowed to corrupt this race of humans. Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, Medo-Persia, Greece, even Rome. I corrupted them all to this end. Now I have the humans right where I want them. And I found it so easy to. All I had to do was fill them with lust, pride of life, envy, hatred, idolatry. Oh, tried and true idolatry. But we must move quickly. I am is running out my time, and all our assault is needed. The fear that was sown in them about the virus is beginning to wane, and the voices of those believers are starting to rise. What do you have for me?
Our team is coordinating efforts to paralyze law enforcement nationally. Once that's done, we'll be able to unleash the defier and the criminal elements among them in every city.
Using their ethos against them has worked for hundreds of years. Walk with me. Every kingdom that arose, I've been able to get them to enslave themselves. What's about the secret?
The secret?
Yes, the secret. To use their insecurities against them. The very thing that makes them different from you. That's what is different. You see, I am the master of fear. Once I insert that into the equation, I rule. I did it with Cain and his brother Abel, when I showed them the difference between each other. And after that witness failure at Babel, I was able to use the difference in their language to further manipulate them.
Yes, I remember that. That helped me to expand my role in the formation of the kingdoms.
Soon it became clear.
That we could move kingdom against kingdom and get them to enslave and genocide themselves?
No, not that alone. But those that look like them within their own kingdoms. Those with the subtle differences. For instance, the Mongoloid wars between China, Vietnam, Japan, Korea. The wars I started with the Caucasoids in Europe that left the world engulfed in war and destruction. The many Negroid wars on the African continent. Oh, I love a good war.
And the Germans and the Jews.
Oh yes, of course. That was my greatest deception. Hitler, he was just a forerunner. The dry run, so to speak, of what's coming. You know, he is being groomed right now, even as we speak. I have my hand on Hitler's shoulder, but this one I will feel myself.
That all seemed to work really well.
It did, for a time. But the obvious was giving my greatest advantage on a global scale. Once the humans tasted riches, blood, power, it became easy to deceive them. Let me ask you something, Wick. What's the first thing you notice in humans?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
They're human. They're color. Man's hue, that was it. Then it became clear. You mentioned Hitler and the Jewish extermination in 17.
Yes, sir.
Well, the test that laid the groundwork for that was based on the difference in hue.
What test was that?
The Caucasoid leadership in the early 1900s in Germany were so susceptible to my ideas that I planted in them. It made it so easy for them to invade the African continent and completely and utterly destroy vast numbers of Guerrero and Navajo Negroes in the Southwest. With those seeds of hatred and distrust being sown, we have now arrived to this point in history where it's all about human. I can get them war within themselves, but nothing like what will happen when it becomes all about color.
It's working fine so far.
So far? What do you mean? I'm expecting things to explode very soon.
Well, the humans still believe the Darwinian theory of race, not realizing the truth about only one race. Not several races, just one.
So what's the problem, Temple Weakness?
It's those believers. They seem to be getting stronger. Our tactics aren't working like we had hoped, like Prin and Powers promised.
And what is this team doing about it? I told you failure will not be tolerated. I will replace all of you. You know I will. Isn't that how you rose? To become Depper Witness?
Yes, Prince Pherick, I've warned them.
What about the American president?
45 has been much stronger than we anticipated. He keeps speaking against everything we do. It seems like he has no fear of reprisal nor recrimination. We've painted him in their light. Racist, xenophobic, liar, coward, cheater, egotistical idiot, but nothing seems to cause him to falter. I don't get it. 39 wilted under the pressure when we set up the Iran hostage situation, but this one, it's just not so.
Just keep the pressure on him. Whether he cracks or not is no concern to me. What is important is keep the narrative going so they are susceptible to my deception. Oh, one more thing. Keep him tweeting. That's my daily humor.
Yes, sir.
It's about what I can get them to believe. Keep their attention on the unrest and insurgency, racism. Keep them looking at the virus. That would divert their attention from what's really going on. They won't have time to look past what's happening on the ground. They'll be oblivious to all the decisions and deals being made to secure Earth's globalization and their enslavement. Fear will be the one that will push them to easy acceptance of my man's leadership in the near future. What do you have on the control agencies?
Well, the UN, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, tech giants, and several of the world's billionaires are all under our steerage. We have them talking about the mistakes during the world's response to the Wuhan virus. They're pushing a global reset called Build Back Better.
Okay, what about the vaccine protocol?
Yes, we have scientists working on that as we speak. The World Health Organization, as well as the Billionaires Voice Club, are running point and they're backing it hard.
Pharmaceuticals?
Big Pharma is fast-tracking it, working on the global distribution without proper testing, and legal is helping them get indemnification for the side effects.
Target the African continent for the initial rollout. That will allow us to raise anger as well as facilitate in their terms the racist narrative worldwide. I told you, it's all about you. Make them remember past vaccines that brought sickness and death to Africa and India.
Yes, sir. But what about those believers? Their voices are getting stronger, and they continue to slow us down. They're starting to become a huge threat.
Start targeting the stronger ones to distract them. They speak in that coded language that I haven't been able to crack yet. But until I do, distraction is the best weapon at our disposal. They use the virus. They use it to keep them from gathering. And the ones that do, just work on entertaining them. Keep their hearing dull.
Less pleasures, cares, other things. Prin will have to work on keeping their mind occupied. I hope she can.
Tell you this right now. You make sure you continue piling on the distractions. It'll cause their voices to weaken. This is an election year. If 45 wins, it will set my plans back years. See to it that it doesn't. I used to own it, but it got away. Failure will not be tolerated under any circumstances. Do you know what my greatest deception is?
There have been so many. I don't know.
Convincing the humans that I don't even exist.
This is ridiculous.
What? What's going on here?
Once again, we've been slowed down. Those dreaded believers. They're raising their voices at greater levels.
Powers, Prin, this falls directly on you. Failure will not be tolerated.
Powers hasn't given me anything to work with.
She's lying. I can't hold them forever. She's been so busy undermining my efforts, she can't follow through on what she's supposed to be doing.
Just admit it. You're losing it. You've become ineffective. Why can't you slow those believers?
Look at these reports.
What is this? I thought we had this handled!
We did. The virus was keeping them in. But Powers began to lose them when Prince's rage forces failed to deliver any prolonged attack.
Wait a minute. What were you doing all this time? Couldn't hold the cities in confusion.
Exactly. Had you been able to maintain the rage, we would be done by now.
That's right, Prin. I gave them to you on a silver platter, and you failed.
If UCU had moved faster,
Don't try to deflect this onto me. UCU is dependent upon rage forces.
You need to fix this quickly. If Prince Pherick becomes aware, he is not gonna like this at all.
45 kept attacking our humans as if he knew what was going on. We unleashed a relentless attack on him.
It's like he thrives on it. Social media is not having the effect we wanted it to have.
and that's Powers' failure yet again.
Shut your mouth or I'll shut it for you.
Therese Powers' failure, Therese Powers' failure, Therese Powers' failure.
Even with their ineptness, our grip on the city halls of New York, Portland, Chicago, and Seattle is tight. As long as 45 is kept busy with other things.
We need more cities. There's no time to waste.
We may have to make do with what we have.
That's not enough. We need more local politicians. Tell me you have more.
I hand-ruled our Detroit, Atlanta, as well as the epicenter city, Minneapolis, and she let them all slip away.
Whoa, there was not enough help from Prin to hold them.
Well, maybe it was just too tough for Therese Powers of Psychops and Cosmo Roldar of the Urban Compromise Units to handle. Huh?
Stay out of my affairs, Prin. I'm warning you.
Warn me, please. Don't make me laugh.
Well, what about 45? He's not going to go down so easily.
Pherick wants him compromised and out of the way.
Wait, isn't 45 your responsibility?
What?
Aren't you supposed to be ruling him?
Shut up, Prin.
Weakness, he is your responsibility.
You may control Beijing, Moscow, the Ayatollahs, and Pyongyang, but he's giving you fits. In your meeting with Prince Pherick, you probably made it seem like it was all our fault, didn't you?
Be quiet, Prin.
What? The story Deborah witnessed destroying our kingdoms of men is better match? You can't handle 45, can you?
Don't make me have to tell you. Again.
Answer her, weakness. Is 45 besting you?
It's those believers that Powers has failed to control. Powers won't get them to shut their mouths. As long as they keep talking, he gets stronger.
Oh, so this is my fault. He's not my jurisdiction, he's yours.
Everybody.
Who are you giving yours to?
Prin, I am tired of your mouth. I'm just gonna close it for you.
I've been waiting for this, Therese.
You are in charge of sitting there looking at me. I'm unhappy idiot. You are all the You don't need to be at this time. You are supposed to be making the mad. You are suffering in this person. You are Colin.
This is not my fault. She didn't do it.
All you had to do was take one easy
You're supposed to be doing your job. Why can you not do that? Those believers should have been taken care of.
You don't have to follow the
You're so beneath me!
You're supposed to be doing your job. Why can't you do it?
What are you doing? I left you in charge and this is what I find?
Prince Pherick, no!
Failed. You all failed. I told you failure would not be tolerated. And your inability to impede on 45's progress is setting my plans back years.
sir. Everything is prepared. They are all present.
Make no mistake, randomness is not part of my plan. This is a managed agenda. What do you have for me?
We have an idea to overcome the failures. It's a real still.